Theological Pipe.
That whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes!
I'm your huckleberry.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Theological Pipe. Happy 2021. Happy New Year. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe, comment, like. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or Google or iHeartradio or any of the other podcast apps, click subscribe. Appreciate it. Again, happy 2021. I don't know if you guys did this back in the day. Like now, if you ever go bowling, you bowl and the lane automatically tabulates your score for you. And so you roll the ball, you knock down 8 pins, the number 8 flashes up on the screen. You roll the ball, you knock down 2 more pins, you get a spare, you got the little mark, they do some special animation. But back in the day, before technology started taking over everything that we do, you had to actually get a piece of paper and keep score for yourself. And so you would lay it out. Normally when we went bowling at that time, it was my dad. He would keep score for us, or someone who knew how to keep score would keep score, because you get 10 points after you get 10 points plus your next ball. If you get a spare, if you get a strike, it's the next 2 rolls, and you have to add it all up. And I'm not a math guy. So, but you had this piece of paper, and there was this thing that you could do when you were bowling. I don't know if it's everyone did it, but I know some people did it, that if you were bowling and you were going along and you had an open frame and you didn't have a spare or a strike, and then you had another open frame, and then maybe you had a spare but you followed it up with a gutter ball, there was this thing that you could do with the pencil. You could take it, and at the end of the frame, you'd have 10 frames, and so let's say it's the 5th frame, and you're like, man, I've got to start doing better. I've been doing poorly. I know I can do better. So what I do is I take my pencil, and in the frame, I just make like a squiggly line. And so if you're watching on YouTube, you see me making a squiggly line. If you're listening, I'm making a squiggly line in between the frames, and what it is, it's an indication, it's a marker that says, from before that point, I hadn't been doing very good, but from this point forward, I'm going to do better. And it's like I said, it's just a little mark. It's just a little indication for you to look at and say, from here on out, I'm doing better. And I hope for 2021, all of us have put that little marker, have made that little mental mark. I'm not a guy that's big on New Year's resolutions. I'm not a guy that thinks that just because the calendar changed numbers from 2020 to 2021, that magically things are going to be better or worse based on just the calendar changing numbers. Things are going to be better or worse a lot because of what I do, because of the way I approach things, because of the way I approach circumstances that happen. A lot of it is up to me. And so I've been talking about that in podcasts from 2020, that just because the election went away, the election, and we're getting ready to have an inauguration, just because it went the way you did or didn't like, doesn't mean things are going to be better or worse for you. You get a determination. You have a huge role to play in whether or not things from this point forward are going to be better. Not the government, not the policies of the government, not people in Washington, D.C. who could care less about you. They just want your vote. You have the ability. And so there is an important psychological thing, if you read some psychology books, that you do have points and markers in your life where you can remember, and you can go back and look at those things and say, okay, I made it through that, I'm going to make it through this. And it's okay to have those moments where you remember, or you make a mark in life and say, from this point is where I'm going to do better. So it's okay to do that little bowling mark and say, from this point, from New Year's 2021, I'm going to do better. I'm not going to be hateful or as hateful. I'm not going to be as depressed. I'm not going to be as scared. I'm not going to be as frightened. I'm not going to be as anxious. I'm not going to be so negative in my thoughts about everything from politics and culture and everything that goes on. I can choose today, from this day forward, to be happy, to be joyful in all circumstances. And when things go bad, which they do every year, I can make the choice to say, no, I made that little squiggly line. And so when things go bad, I'm not going to whine. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to moan. I'm not going to groan. I'm going to attack the problem head on. I'm going to attack life head on. And it's going to be something that would be special and different for you this year. So that little bowling mark is good. In Psalms 77, this is Theological Pipe. And what we do is we look at everything, hopefully from the theological perspective that there is a God. And in Psalm 77, David wrote that, hey, I'm going to remember what God has done. I'm going to remember those times. So again, think back to those times where you've made it through really, really difficult times and you're still standing. Think back to those times when you were at your lowest and God saw you through it. Or maybe you're at your lowest now and you're just starting to rise out. And again, I hope that that's what 2021 is for all of us. We make that little mark and we say from this moment forward, it's going to be better. Things are going to be better for us. So I hope that we do that happy 2021. It's a new year. Again, you are the one that's responsible for a large part. I'm not saying there aren't outside forces that can butt up against your plans or can thwart what you're trying to do. That happens to everybody. But when that happens, don't play the victim. Don't blame other people. Pick yourself up and fight to make this year better than 2020 was. And I think we can do that. So that's kind of the Theological Pipe moment. I did want to also do one other thing real quick for the first podcast of the year. Man, a huge thank you. I just got done watching the 2 semifinal college football games. It looks like it's going to be Alabama, Ohio State. The game's about to end. Ohio State it was 48-28, I think, a few minutes ago, and it's in the fourth quarter. Kind of a surprise that Ohio State played as good as they did. But it looks like it's going to be Alabama and Ohio State in the finals, and that should be a great game. And thank you for the sports people, from college football players, NFL football players, NBA football players, golfers, Major League Baseball players, UFC, who I think gets a big round of applause from me, Dana White, for they were the first sport that they kept rolling. They figured out ways to make it work in this time of COVID in 2020. And a huge thank you. I love sports. I love the distraction. Now, yes, I've talked in other podcasts and will probably talk in other podcasts about I think that sports should bring us together and not divide us. And if sports can figure out a way to not be so political with their messaging, there's a way to bring us together and to fight for good things for everybody. I think we could do that. But a huge props to these men and these coaches and these players and these women and all these people that play sports and did it for my enjoyment. I get enjoyment out of it, and I can't say thank you enough for having to go through the protocols they have to go to and the testing that they have to go to and all the things they had to navigate to play sports, and it's been great. Again, looking forward to the college football playoff, looking forward to the NFL playoffs. Can't wait. In a few months, pitchers and catchers are going to report for 2021 for baseball. And again, my hope is that everyone fights, and 2021 is going to be a lot better for sports with more people in the arena, full seasons, and everyone getting back to just a little bit of normalcy. So again, happy 2021. Use that little bowling mark, make that little mark, and just tell yourself that from this point forward, 2021 is going to be better. Not because it's a magic number change, but because you're going to have an attitude change. And I'm talking to myself and to anyone else listening, but this is really for me, but I think it's for everyone, that we can have an attitude change, that, instead of saying something snarky on social media when someone posts something that they disagree with, you just resolve to be better and to move forward and not have to start a fight, not have to start some sort of back and forth that gets you the clout on social media that you want. Ooh, I got some recognition, but in the end, what did you do except fight with people who disagree with you? Let's try to get together. Let's try to move forward. But again, that little line, that's an indication for you. We have the ability to approach things differently starting now. So make that little bowling mark, that little squiggly line, and say 2021, I'm going to resolve to be happier and to approach things differently and to look on the bright side and to fight when I need to fight when things get tough, because they will, regardless of COVID. Every single year there's ups and there's downs, there's hardships and there's highs, and so navigate them with a good attitude. So put that in your theological pipe and smoke it. Again, Happy New Year. Glad you're here. Hit the comment, subscribe button. Again, appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Well, bye.